Hello traders, in this video we're going to be taking a look at an indicator called the VWAP or volume weighted average price. Now this is something that I use very consistently within my day trading strategy, so it's always on my chart. It is something that I use every day to get an understanding of the general sentiment of the market, my general bias, and also to find the best entries and take profit or exit levels on the market. It's something that's really underused, I think, even now by retail traders, but it is a tool that the larger institutions and the big money use very, very consistently in order to get in and out of an asset with basically as little impact as possible on the market price itself. And also just to be able to build positions or to take these day trades in and out of any particular asset. So the description really here is the VWAP is the average price of an asset during a given time period. So most commonly this is used on a session. So you get the session VWAP, which is resets every single day, and it takes the average price of an asset during that day. But you can also use this on a weekly time frame. You can use it on a monthly. And you can use it for a custom time period of your choosing, which is called an anchored VWAP. So if you want to choose your start point, then you can use something called an anchored VWAP, which we'll go over in a little bit more detail in just a second. Basically, it's an important benchmark of price. Okay, it removes a lot of the noise, showing the sentiment and value of an asset. So if you look at this chart here with all these candles, there can be a lot of noise there which you don't necessarily want to trade. If you just want to understand where the average price is, with the understanding that a market is always trying to find its average, trying to find its value, and trying to find that balance, then it removes a lot of the noise and you can really use that as a good benchmark to take trades off of. Okay, so we're going to very quickly look at the calculation for this. We're not going to go into too much detail. The VWAP on TradingView and basically any other charting software, it does all of this for you. But it's important to understand like the basic calculation just to know what the concept is. So the calculation here is it is the sum of price for a particular period or candle or tick, depending on what it is that what kind of time period your chart is. In this instance, we're looking at the 4-hour. So we'll take it as that. So it's the sum of price for that particular candle times by the volume of that candle, and then divided by the cumulative volume. Now that is the volume of all previous candles within that set period of time. So if it's a session, it will be all the candles or all of the ticks from the start of that session up until the point in the session that you're at now. And then obviously if you're changing the VWAP, then this can be taken from the week or from an anchored VWAP or so on and so forth. So again, here we have here's just a quick example. Okay, so your sum of price most commonly, now again, you can change this, but most commonly will be the sum of your high, your low, and your close. So that takes the average of these three. So you add those three together and then you divide it by 3 to find your sum of price. And then what you're doing is you're taking the volume of that entire candle. So that gives you the calculation for this top part. And then straight away, in order to divide this, you are looking at the cumulative volume of all previous candles. Okay, so let's say the day starts here. We're at this point in the day. You are taking your sum of this candle times the volume, and then you divide it by the volume, the total volume of all of these previous candles within that session. Okay, so again, we don't really need to go into any more detail on that. The VWAP does it all for you, but that is the basic concept of this. Okay, next point. So the way that I like to look at this, and just a very easy kind of way of understanding this, is that your moving average, your VWAP is basically like a cross between a moving average and a point of control. Okay, so the main differences being that your moving average, first of all, is very simply just calculated from the close price of a candle, and then you divide it by the number of periods back. So if you're looking at a 10 moving average, you'd be looking at this close price, the average close price of the last 10 candles, and then that moves along with price. So it's very similar. It gives you a moving line that the VWAP also does, but it's just a different way of calculating the VWAP being much more volume based, therefore being much more kind of accurate and a better benchmark for price itself. And then the point of control, the similarity of this is that your point of control is showing you the single level in which has the most volume. So similar to a VWAP, it is using volume as its main calculation, but the point of control remains static. Okay, you can put a point of control and you can see that set price within a range or within a certain time period that has had the most volume traded on it. So I like to think of the VWAP as being a kind of a cross between these two, taking the best bits of both and putting it into a really strong indicator that you can use on your chart. Okay, so why is it important? Okay, so the VWAP shows the average price of an asset for a given period of time. So again, I have just gone over this. That is basically what it is. So it's that benchmark for price that shows you the average price of the asset for that period of time, whether it's a session, whether it's a weekly, or whether it's anchored. The market is always finding balance, so it can tell us whether price is above or below fair value. So by fair value, I mean just that really. Okay, so if price is in a downtrend, where is fair value for getting into a short position in order to take price down lower? If price is range bound, where is the fair value within that range? If price is in an uptrend, where is the fair value for that uptrend where you should look to get in and out of the market? Okay, large traders will use the VWAP to lessen their impact on the market. So the other thing that the VWAP does is it gives a good indication of where all that volume is kind of centered around. Okay, so if it's constantly finding where the most volume is for every single candle, it tells you where there's a big concentration of volume there. So if you want to get in on big size, you want to be getting in where there's big volume in order to lessen your impact on the market. So if you want to take a big long position on the market, you can get in at VWAP and you know that there's liquidity there, there's interest there, so you'll have less of an impact on the price itself. The other important thing is that it resets every session, so it will reset every single day if you're using it on a session time frame, which can just give you a very good strategy for that day that is consistent. Okay, so every single day VWAP resets, you know what you're looking for, it's consistent. And it's also consistent across all time frames. So whether you're looking at the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the 15-minute chart, there will be little to no difference between it because of the way that it is calculated, resetting on the session and taking that average and the cumulative effect of the entire market. Okay. So that's basically a few key points on why it's important and just the strength of the VWAP itself. And then finally, how to trade it. Okay, so in ranging conditions, the VWAP will act as a magnet, and we'll go over a few examples of this in just a second. So when you're looking at range bound conditions with price just doing this, very often you'll find your VWAP just kind of goes along through the middle of it. So if price goes above it, you know that it's pretty good value to take a short position back into your VWAP. Price comes below, you know you can probably get a good move back into your VWAP from that. So it's a really good area in which to look for longs if price is below VWAP, look for shorts if price is above VWAP, and then to take profit when price reaches that VWAP area. Now, then during trending conditions, VWAP then gives a good entry. Okay, so if we're looking at trending conditions coming down, again, what you'll often find is your VWAP is doing something that looks a little bit like this. So you can see here, clear downtrend, highs, lows, lower high, lower low, lower high. And you can see that very often you'll find your VWAP gives you these entries in order to find good value for those short positions in order to push price down. Now, conversely, if that's the other way up and you're in an uptrend, then of course the VWAP can give you a good entry for taking price higher. Of course, if you're within the crew, then we do have our playbook strategies that do tell you almost exactly how you can trade this. So we do have our VWAP Open Drive, we have our VWAP Trending Day setups, and we do have the other setups that we do trade within our general day trading strategies. Okay, so they're the main, the key kind of takeaways from this on how you can trade this particular indicator. Now let's just very quickly show you how to set that up on a chart. So we've got just a basic chart here. What we'll do, we'll go down onto the 5-minute time frame. We'll take a look at Bitcoin on the 5-minute time frame, breaking down a little bit here, but that's okay. And what we want to do is we want to click on our indicators and we want to just search for VWAP. Okay, so you add that onto your chart. And what you'll see here is you've got this blue line and then these green lines either side of it. Now the blue line here is your VWAP. These green lines are your upper band and your lower band. I don't particularly like these. So what I tend to do is just remove them. Okay, I'm not that interested in where the upper band and the lower band are. What I like is the VWAP. This gives you plenty to trade. There are strategies where you can use these upper and lower bands, but we won't really cover those in this video. So this here being your VWAP, okay, you can see the line, you can change the color, do whatever you want with it. And then what you are looking for most commonly is your session VWAP. So as we can see here, you can see how it drops down in price very suddenly. This is on your daily open. Okay, so this resets every single day. So you can go back, you can see where it has these sudden moves to just come down and meet price, and then it resets every single day. As you can see from the calculation that we had, this particular VWAP is calculated from your high, low, close divided by 3. Okay, so it's the sum of your high, your low, your close of the candle. But of course, you can take this from your open, high, low, close. You can take this from just your close. You can take it from just your high and low. And you can change that according to basically whatever strategy it is you are using. So that's the VWAP, okay? What you can then do, of course, you can change this to session, week, month, quarter, year, century, whatever it is that you want to be taking a look at. And then, of course, if you take it back to week, you'll see the line smooths off. And the last point at which the reset would have been at the beginning of the week here, okay? So this actually straight away, I do have an example of a session VWAP to show in just a minute, but straight away here, you can see very clearly the week so far for Bitcoin in particular has been very much a trending market. What is VWAP doing? Okay, you move below VWAP, it acts as an anchor, comes inside, you get the move down, back above VWAP, what happens? You come back into it, price drops around a bit for that level, acts as that magnet, below VWAP, above VWAP, constantly coming back in to this midpoint, to that VWAP, which is so far showing that this, moving along like this, is your fair price for Bitcoin for this week. Now, if we just go on to a session chart, we do have another example of this. Now, this is today. Okay, and it's often quite easy to understand what the trend is setting up like for a day by looking at things like your initial balance, but generally just taking the first few hours of trading within a day. We can see here the day opened, and what happened, we were sideways for quite a long period of time. So you get that move down below VWAP. Okay, what happens? That gives fair value for, can see here that we've gone quite significantly below where the average price is. So you can look for those long positions in order to take price back up into your VWAP here, and then you take profit. You get this move above, you come back down into your VWAP, get another move above, come back down into your VWAP, and you can see consistently good take profit levels for this, by just basically the price continuing to just hang out around these levels. Again, price moves below. What could you expect to see is at some point, because we're looking at this as more of a trending, more of a range bound day so far, you would expect price to come back into here if you have taken a long from these lows for whichever reason. Then the VWAP will be a good point to take profit from this. Now, the other setup for that is your trending days. Okay, so we have a day that was clearly very trending, and this was a kind of few days ago on the Bitcoin chart. And you can see your day opens, immediately you have this big push down. What happens? Okay, you have a bounce. VWAP acting as resistance. Cannot get above that VWAP. You have another push down. VWAP once again acting as resistance. So whereas these range bound days are good for getting into trades and taking profit. These trending days give you great entries. Okay, and you can see here, really good entries for this. Short position, take it down. Again, short position, take it down. You continue to ride that all the way down here. VWAP once, twice, 3 times, acting as resistance before getting a final move down and then breaking through it. So you can see consistently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 7. Okay, that one goes above, but you've got a really good amount of trades that could give you good value on this from a trending setup. So that's a trending day, a downtrending day with VWAP acting as resistance. Okay, you want to be looking for your entries. And then, of course, depending on your strategies, playbook strategies, whatever it is you're using, you'll know when to take profit on that. Okay, and finally, the other thing I do want to look at is the anchored VWAPs. Okay, so much like the session ones, or in this case, the weekly ones, these will reset at the beginning of that period of time that you're looking at. Your anchored VWAPs are basically your choice of where you pull this from. So I have an example here that takes it from our all-time high, and you can see we're in a downtrend. So very clearly, highs, lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Okay, we're in a downtrend. What is acting as the resistance? 1, 2, 3 touches of this resistance, this VWAP, which is causing price to move down. Okay, so good entries for short positions. We know we're in a downtrend. We haven't yet changed this market structure. Okay, this basically being key market structure. We haven't yet changed that, so we're still in a downtrend. And then, of course, what you can do, look for those short positions, which can then take price further down. Now, the other thing from that is these VWAPs often, if they get reclaimed, they can often be really strong reversals for price as well. Okay, so yeah, that's the anchor VWAP. And to get that on the chart as well, what you are looking to do on this is you go over onto your the left hand side here. You can see anchored VWAP down at the bottom here. You can click on that, and then you can take it from wherever you want, really. So let's take it from this low. You can see here price, or we can take it from even this low, this being basically our swing low. You can see price finding this support, running below this VWAP, and again, kind of trying to find support on here. Again, you can take this from this low. What can you do? You can see here, support, takes price below VWAP, eventually reclaims it, and then continues to go on a trend. So it's a really good, shows really strongly what the trend is and where to get those entries on the market and where the fair value is. In the same way, if you're in a trending condition, let's look at this along here, clearly in a bit of a trend here. So where did that, clearly in a bit of a range here. So where did that range start? You could take a look at a VWAP for where that range really started. And you could look at this as taking price into VWAP consistently in order to find where that range, basically point of control, that moving point of control is. So yeah, I think that's more or less everything I want to go over on this. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like, subscribe onto this video as always. Everything is in the description below. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Do try trading this on your charts, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers, bye.